Hi there, my name is Rita Rozynek. I am a collage artist, linguist and freelance translator, born in Poland, currently living in Hanover, Germany. For the creation process, I only use paper, old magazines, scissors, glue and my imagination. Ever since I can remember, I have always drawn, usually princesses and fairy tale motifs, and created something. I was encouraged to do so by my parents, who were artists and musicians. My mother was a singer and my father was a pianist, but he also painted with oil paints in his spare time. And one of my earliest memories, my dad was painting a winter landscape and he went away somewhere for a while. And I painted snow with a red paint, to help him, of course. I was maybe about 2 or 3 years old. He got very annoyed at the time. So, I just prefer vivid colors from an early age. For a long time, I was looking for my way as an artist. I tried different things and techniques, and for a while I studied drawing and painting privately with a Polish painter, a friend of my dad's, because he believed I had a talent. Unfortunately, she didn't think so, and this also discouraged me a little from painting. So I looked elsewhere. As a teenager, I became fascinated by surrealism and Dadaism and started making collages from words, creating texts, a kind of weird poetry, something like automatic writing. It was also a kind of self-therapy, which I think I was trying to heal my childhood traumas. At that time, I was also reading a lot of Freud and especially Carl Gustav Jung, and was fascinated by depth psychology, dream interpretation, archetypes, and tarot cards. As a teenager, I even drew my own Great Arcana, 22 of the tarot cards, which I then repeated a few years ago in the form of a collage. I have also always read a lot of fairy tales, myths, magical realism and fantasy books, which has also greatly influenced what I create. I have always had a flair for languages, and I studied German language and literature. I wrote my master thesis on angels and the creative role of Lucifer in creation in the 16th century mystic Jacob Böhme, and I think that also influenced my art because I encountered old alchemical engravings, paintings and of mystics and symbolism, hermeticism, etc. I don't identify with any religion, but I have always been very interested in everything related to it. Symbols, rituals, mystics, and so on. I started making collages from cut-out images just a few years ago. The idea came to me in meditation. At first, they were quite clumsy. I experimented a lot with colors, and it was a real learning by doing. I was doing the same thing as I had done before with words. I would select and subconsciously cut out images from newspapers and create an image from them. And the results really surprised me. I was most influenced by the Surrealist movement and Dadaism. To name a few artists, Leonora Carrington, Max Ernst, René Magritte, Salvador Dali, Man Ray. Also symbolism and mystics, alchemy. I was greatly influenced by Carl Gustav Jung's depth psychology. Through him, I became interested in religions, shamanism, archetypes, and the collective and personal subconscious. I also recently discovered Hilma af Klint and other artists who were kind of mediums. I think this is very inspiring. What I do has also been influenced by fashion. As a child, I wanted to be a fashion designer for a while, and I sewed clothes for dolls, so I also often dress my characters in my collages. I like fashion that is art, like Schiaparelli or Iris van Herpen. I'm currently focusing on getting to know other artists and showing my art more locally. I'm now taking part in a project with other artists where everyone dresses one part of the mannequin. I got the left arm and I'm doing a kind of collage sleeve. I'm also preparing for several exhibitions locally and abroad. For example, in Paris and in Japan. I've also been doing a mini or even micro collage lately. Let's call it a microlage. I'm exercising myself in minimalism. But I'm also creating my own macro chaos with a lot of colors and shapes. I am an introverted person, so just sharing what I do and showing it at exhibitions, talking to people about it and seeing their reactions was always a big challenge for me. Even this interview is one. But I think it's also a matter of getting used to it. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed by this, and I think I don't do enough in terms of marketing or selling my own art. Professionally, I'm a translator and I don't make my living from art. And I admire artists who can do it. I'm still learning it. I'm investing in myself and in exhibitions. I'm acting a bit intuitively here. It's difficult for me to think of art as a business. I would like to be able to just create and not worry about the rest. It's a bit of a problem for me sometimes to simply find the time to create art, because I must earn a living and working as a translator can be quite exhausting. But I try to find a healthy balance between one and the other, because simply being creative is almost as necessary to my life, like as eating or sleeping. I feel bad when I don't do it. Oh, what advice would I give to my younger self? Don't worry too much about other people's opinions and trends. Don't compare yourself with others, because each of us is unique and should express exactly ourselves, not to satisfy someone else's needs or tastes, but our own need to create. Go where you feel you should go, and don't be afraid of anything. It's not worth it. Create only what resonates with you. Don't be a crowd pleaser. As I mentioned before, I'm also interested in fashion. Last year I had 2 mannequins at my disposal and I dressed one of them with collage wings, while the other wore a dress from newspapers and fashion magazines, and my old red Dr. Martens shoes, on which I pasted different motifs. So let's call it the collage fashion. I like to dress the mannequins and create a 3D collage or a collage sculpture in this way. It gives completely new possibilities to create forms and meanings, where a text in different languages combines with the image to create something completely new and unexpected, giving different possibilities of interpretation. When collaging, I mostly listen to music, very different from classical to electronic, depending on my mood. Sometimes when I'm looking for materials or choosing something for a particular collage or theme, I watch a series or a film or listen to a podcast on a different subject, because I don't want to do it completely consciously. I want to choose these elements subconsciously and subconsciously combine them. So I try to divide my attention so that my consciousness is kind of somewhere else. And it's very interesting because sometimes I choose something, I don't know why, and it's only later when I see the result that I find out for myself, oh, that was the point. It's very interesting. Try it sometime. You can do the same with text, with words. The most beautiful reaction I can remember from my last personal exhibition was when a mother held a little girl in her arms, and the little girl stared in amazement at one of my spirals, showing different elements with a finger. Often people tell me what they see and what it means to them, finding completely new meanings and connections that I wouldn't have even thought of. I would like people to find something universal in my art that they can take with them and reflect on. I want to give a sense that they are not alone, so that they are not afraid to approach their shadow which is hidden within us individually and collectively. I want to treat with colors to remind us of childhood, that inner child within us, to rediscover it and meet its needs. This year I will be taking part in a group exhibition in Paris at Montmartre in March, and then in Japan in several cities. You can also see a small exhibition in Hanover, in Germany, that I put together with a friend of mine who is also an artist. And the exhibition is called Feenportal, in English, the Fairy Portal. You can meet me in other places locally with smaller pop-up exhibition too. You can find all the details on my Instagram.